Sometimes the thing that makes us feel safe is the very thing we're afraid to lose. For Sammy, it was his shell. It had always been there. It went everywhere with him. It was home. It was protection. It was a part of who he was. And then one day, it was gone. Welcome to the Hand Drawn Project. I'm Mitchell, and if you're not ready to start anyway. Today I'm coloring Sammy. He's one of my lost and found critters, and his story started with something pretty simple. A snail loses his shell. But while I was working on him, I started thinking about how much bigger that idea really is. We all have things that make us feel a little safer. Maybe it's a routine, a job, a person, or a place. Maybe it's a hobby you've done for years. Maybe it's just knowing what tomorrow is supposed to look like. We get comfortable with those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we get so used to them being there that we don't realize how much we depend on them until something changes. That's when it gets uncomfortable, and sometimes scary. Sammy didn't lose everything. He lost the thing that made him feel protected. And for a while, it probably felt like everything. I think people go through that all the time. You lose a job, a friendship changes, the kids grow up, you move. Something you used to be able to do gets harder. Or maybe a part of your life simply doesn't fit anymore. And suddenly, the old normal is gone. That doesn't mean you stop. It means you have to figure out what comes next. And usually, that doesn't happen all at once. You take one little step, then another. You try something. You change your mind. You try something else. That's pretty much how I came back to drawing. I didn't sit down with some giant plan. I just kept making things. One drawing, then another. A bird, a turtle, a mouse. Most came out pretty good. Some looked more like potatoes than birds. But I kept plugging away. And eventually, something that had felt unfamiliar started feeling normal again. That's what I like about Sammy. His story isn't really about losing his shell. It's about what happens after. Because losing something doesn't always mean the story is over. Sometimes it means the story has to change. And change can be uncomfortable. But uncomfortable isn't the same as impossible. And there he is, Sammy. Still Sammy. Maybe a little different. Maybe figuring things out. But moving forward. And maybe that's enough. If something in your life has changed, or something familiar isn't there anymore, you don't have to know exactly what comes next. Just take the next little step, because every page starts with a few lines. And eventually, those lines start adding up. Keep creating.